Today, with that, I want to share with you whatever I have learned through Power Platform. And this is again a very interesting thing that you learn today. And the idea behind this is that they also want to improve the speed to market, want their solutions to be out very quickly. And these are good for applications which are relatively of lesser complexity. I'm not saying we cannot build complex apps, but for less complexity apps, this is a very much go-to platform these days with the amount of low-code, no-code features that they are providing. So without wasting the time, I'll straight away jump into like what we are going to do today. And I'll just share my screen. All right. So to start with, we will see what Power Platform entirely is, what are the different components available in Power Platform, and then from there we will jump to the agenda of today's session about what is Power Automate. We'll navigate through the Power Automate portal. What are the building blocks of that portal? What are the core components? Then we'll do a couple of hands-on flow today, different types of flow and how they work, and then some more deep dive into some of the other things of building a flow and things. So the Power Platform ecosystem, if I talk about, is based on five things, which all serve different functionality. So if you see, and I'll go through one by one each of them. So first is Copilot. So Copilot is nothing but a platform which gives you an ability to create agents by a low code, no code means. So when I say agent is on a very simple level. A definition of agent is somebody who can do a task for you using some natural language. Okay, so this copilots, they provide you to build agents through which can work on your natural language instructions, perform tasks for you, connect with LLMs to provide you more refined output or intelligent output, and also understand your intent, your sentiments, and provide you better service. So Copilot is just a platform to build your custom agents. Then the next is Power Automate, which is used to build workflow automations. So on a high level, this is more similar to what you have gone through N10 or Make platforms. And Power Automate, in the sense, is more powerful that apart from the cloud functionalities, there is a desktop version of Power Automate also available, which is called as Power Automate Desktop. So it comes as an installer on your machine, and the tasks. Just to explain you on a very simple level, we'll cover it in more detail. But so like if I want to connect, build a workflow. So if I would connect to a system, and the minimum thing that I would need is I would need an API so that my connectors can connect and get data from them. What if there is a system for which there is no API available, or even that system is not available on cloud? How do I get data from that? So for those kind of systems or those kind of products, we have a Power Automate desktop. So Power Automate desktop can be installed on your machine, and through that we can connect to those systems which are do not have API or which are on-premise systems in a better way. Next is your Power Apps. So till now we have seen ability to create workflow. What if somebody wants a UI to be developed? What if we want some screens to be developed? So Power Apps give you the ability to create some applications with UI and with using no code, low code means. So minimum code, you are able to create applications with multiple screens, and users can interact with those, enter data, submit the data to database. So full on web based applications that you. The next is Power Pages. So difference between Power Apps and Power Pages is that Power Apps is only suitable for applications that run inside a tenant. So if I am Growwstacks, if I have to work with, want to create an app just for which is supposed to be used by the internal team of Growwstacks, then Power Apps is the right way. But if there is an app which I would want to be used by the external clients or external folks to Growwstacks, Then Power Pages allows me to create applications which can be accessed by people from outside also. So that is there's a difference between how those two are used, and that's why there's a also difference in the way they are developed. Power BI, very simple, as I think everybody knows here. So Power BI is a dashboard and a reporting tool. So it connects to wide variety of data sources, and you can build different types of dashboards, reports, anything from for a reporting perspective. So like these five things, these are your high level offerings from Microsoft and Power Platform. But behind this, what sits is the layer is the next layer that I'm going to talk about. So the next layer which sits on behind this, which powers Power Platform is, and I'll cover one by one. So the first thing is Power FX. So Power FX is a language which is developed by Microsoft to write code or to write some quick level logic in Power Platform based app. So if I'm building a Power app, if I have to write some quick code in there, I will use Power FX. And Power FX gives me the ability to write through formulas and some very minimalistic code achieve functionality. So it's just a way, a syntax of writing Power Apps or Power Pages kind of things for apps and these things. The next thing is environments. So like we know that there, like in a typical development life cycle, there are a development environment, there's a production environment, there's a user acceptance environment, where as the project moves through different stages, the application is also moved and exposed to different sets of users. So again, through Power Platform, they provide you an ability to create specific environments for your own use cases and how you want to structure your implementation lifecycle. The next thing is Dataverse. So Dataverse is its Power Platform offers its own set of database. Dataverse is the name. It is a fully relational database, and it is based on Azure SQL platform, but it sits inside Power Platform only. And the preferred way, most preferred way to build applications of Power Platform is either using Dataverse or some other relational tool that we want to. The next is the connectors. So connectors is nothing but the way through which you can connect to any external applications. So like if I want to connect to Outlook, if I want to connect to Teams, if I want to connect to SAP, if I want to connect to Salesforce. So for each one of these systems, there is an inbuilt connector provided in the platform. And through once you select that connector, you can perform different operations that are allowed in that connector. All you would need is some information to connect to that instance, and you would need basically details of the operation that you are performing. So connectors provides you an ability to connect with external systems or apps or anything that you want to. And last thing is AI Builder. So AI Builder is nothing but a way through which you can build AI powered apps. So like if I have a text based document, if I have and I have to get some information summary of it. So AI Builder is the underlying AI engine in Power Platform, which gives you those capabilities. If I have to understand some patterns, so AI Builder has a pattern recognition module inside that. If I have to extract some key phrases from an invoice, then I would train the AI Builder models to recognize a certain phrases in the invoice and train it, so it will recognize that. So AI Builder is the AI mind behind inside the Power Platform to build your AI infused apps. Okay, so first I have opened the Power Apps platform here. Okay, so this is a platform which is used to create apps, and almost all the platforms that we are going to see today, they are similar in how their Microsoft has structured. So on the right top, you would see the environment that I am part of. So all the environments that I have access to, I would see all those environments here. So I can switch between any environment that are shown here that I'm a part of. So this is your all the environments that I talked about. Top right is, it will show that who is the logged in user, and you can view your account and you can view your Microsoft 365 profile. If I come to the left, so this is where the main action happens. So when I click on create, so this is a Power Apps based site. So when I click create, it will ask me which type of an app I want to create, and I can create apps regarding related to that. When I click on learn, so Microsoft has a platform called as Microsoft Learn, and Microsoft Learn has got very good courses where basically you can go through learn the entire Power Platform through those courses and the practicals that they have demonstrated. So I'll just click on the link here. So it will these are the courses. Let's say on Power Apps, these are the courses it has, and when you click on it, it will go to learn.microsoft, and it will show you how to build certain things, learn about the platform. And these are very good courses. Like if I train anybody on Power Platform from scratch, I always tell them to go through these courses from Learn, which are very good. Then apps, when I click on apps, so it will show all the apps that I have created or any apps that are shared with me. So it shows everything. These are the apps that are available in the system. And I would just show one app to you. So this is an app that we just built for invoice reporting. So you can see the invoices that are there, and if I want to click on it, click on it, it'll show me all the details that are related to that invoice. So basically, this is a way where if users want to enter some information, interact with the system, they would build Power Apps. Then AI Hub we will cover in detail when we go to Power Automate. Tables is a way, again, it connects to Dataverse, and you can create your own tables for the applications that you want to. The system provides some default tables created, but if you want to create new tables, you can click here and you can do a create new table, and you can create your own table. Flows is nothing but Power Automate. So when I build apps, I can connect them to any flow. So on a click of a button, I can say get me data from SharePoint for this particular user. So a flow would run and it would get me data. Or if I want to say save the data for the fields that I have entered on the screen, so flow I would have to create a flow, and that flow would save the data in the database. I will come to solutions again when I'll cover all these things, remaining things, when we go to the Power Automate side of things. Just a high level overview on what Power Apps is. The next thing is if let's say let's go through Copilot agents. Okay. So this is what I wanted to start with, create an agent. So when I click on start from blank, so it launches this Copilot Studio. Okay. And since I have never used it in this Growwstacks tenant, I'll just click on start free trial. Okay. So here basically it starts with, you can you can just start saying an agent, write in some instruction, and it would build an agent for you. So if I write, so I said there's that. I build an agent which gets daily weather details for me. So I have described it as a problem statement in natural language, and it has now set up an agent for me, which would provide me a daily forecast. So let's say, if I ask it, and it's asking, and it gives a button over here. It has configured it. If I create it, it would create that agent for me. Okay, so basically it went to a certain, what it is like, since we are in a development mode, so it is telling you which knowledge source it has referred with the complete, and it has saying the response was generating using general knowledge from the LLM. Behind the scenes, it uses Copilot 4.1, and it gave you an weather output. Now, if I can publish this and I can add this to my Teams. So anybody in my organization who is using Teams would be able to interact with this bot and this agent and get any weather related questions and things. Basically, what I wanted to show is that just by giving natural language instructions, it can create an agent for you, and that agent can also work with some natural language instructions and perform tasks for you. Okay. So we look Power Automate. I'll cover Power Pages. So Power Pages and Power BI are actually not enabled in the tenant, but when they're enabled in the tenant, you would see that their links available over here only. So that I would skip for now, or maybe I can show you at a later date how they work. So again, as I described, so Power Automate is nothing but a platform to create workflows, automated workflows, which can run on some triggers, or it could run on a scheduled basis, or it could be on an event-driven thing. So event-driven could be click of a button on a mouse, or a user asking for a specific action to be performed, or through a bot if I'm saying get me the last 5 emails in my inbox. So that is an event-driven thing. There's an instant trigger, which means that instant means that, let's say I've said if any row is added to my database, then perform certain action. So that is called as an instant type of flow. So what Power Platform provides you is, first thing I'll cover is, it provides you task and process mining. So what you can do here is that, let's say you have a process in your organization. So and you give that you create a snapshot of that process, and there's a process mining advisor in there, and you feed that process to it. So Power Automate would try to generate an execution plan of its own, and it would try to show what are the inefficiencies in it and how it can make that process better. So this is called as a high level process mining thing that it does. And this is with the advent of AI. This is the thing which is evolving right now. Not many people use it, but the amount of investment Microsoft is putting in, this is going to be very powerful in the next 1 or 2 releases of the platform. We talked about connectors. So Microsoft provides around 1400 connectors. So basically, you can connect to 1400 different applications using Power Automate. Each of them have their own connectors, and with each connector comes a list of operations that you can perform to any of those data sources. Enterprise grade security. So again, uh, it is sits the security behind this is Microsoft Azure Active Directory security. So people cannot access any automation that is running behind it. It sits on the Azure thing also. So from a security perspective, even your connectors are governed by data loss prevention policies. So from a security purpose and a data loss prevention purpose, your data is secure, your automations are secure. Then the platform also provides pre-built templates. So by pre-built templates means, for some common use cases, they have given some already developed flows which you can use. Only thing that you have to do is to configure those with your own data sources. So if, let's say, you want to build a flow for capturing student details that are coming into your database, and you want to perform some action. So there would be a certain template for it. You just have to open that template, connect it to your own data source, and it would start working. Robotic process automation, RPA, is the thing that I described with Power Automate Desktop. So Power Automate Desktop again is used in the scenarios where the API access is not available, where we want to connect to some on-prem sources and or legacy sources, and these sources can be accessed using RPA. Now I would just take you to the entire Power Automate portal, and we can go through the entire portal. What are the building blocks? What are the components? And we'll create some flows along the way to see how things work. Before that, I'll just take a 5 minutes break. You can connect back in. So the how you can get onto this portal is, the URL is make.powerautomate.com. All right. So when I do that, I would log in and I would come into this portal. And on the top, as I said to you, I would see all the environments that I am part of. So I can choose any environment where I want to do the development, and this would open up that environment and I can do the development. On the right hand side, it shows the logged in user, who is the logged in user, his account and his profile. Settings is just a way, if you want to change this ID, change the theme of this, so you can change the theme. Or you can, if you want to, like, I am an admin for this environment, so if they on the admin portal center, if you want to go, you can go to the admin center and you can view the licenses or any other settings that you have for you. On the left hand side, we now start with the detailed things. So first is the create option. So when I click create, it tells me what are the different ways I can create a flow. So first is like an automated cloud flow. So automated cloud flow basically is a triggered flow. and it could work on a event that has happened. So I could, let's say I have built an Power app and the user is entering information. Once I click save, then I want to send a notification to that user that your data is saved, retrieved, your is saved in our database. So in that case, the trigger would be a button on that application, and once I trigger that button, the configured flow on that button would call this flow, and it would create that automated cloud. Instant cloud flow is with something which runs manually based on some things happening in the background. It could be things like updating a data to a SharePoint list, or creating a row, or deleting a row. So these flow get triggered as and when you need it. Scheduled cloud flow is basically you design a flow which runs on a particular amount scheduled time of the day. It can run, if you want it to run 3 times a day, so you can configure the frequency of it and it would run. Then describe it to design it. So this is again a Copilot related feature where I could tell to Copilot that create a flow which does a certain functionality, and it would create that flow for me. We will go through this demo of this. Desktop flow is again through that Power Automate desktop that we talked about. So this would open an instance of Power Automate desktop on my machine, and we could create that flow for desktop on that. Process mining is again the mining advisor that we saw earlier. So you have to provide it a already existing process that is running, and it would create a map of it. It would show the inefficiencies in that, and it would show what is the better way of building that process and optimizing that process. And below here you see some of the templates that are available that are available in the platform. So for simple things that you want to like scheduling a reply to send at the perfect time. So if you receive an email, you want to send an automated reply, so you can build using this. And so these are some of the simple use cases that they have created template. Once you click on it, it would basically if I click on this one, so it would tell you what all applications it is connecting to, and it would give me show me a flow which is created. And so it says your flow is ready to go. It is turned on when triggered. So when I click on the edit mode, it is, so basically this is a flow that it has automatically built for me. So it would work on a certain scenario that for a particular message, and I would provide everything. And once that type of message is received, it would send a reply to a particular user on that. So it would get messages, check the details, and send a reply using that. So this is like a pre-configured flow that it has created. So based on the receipt of a message, it would perform certain actions and post a message in some channel or some chat that we can configure here. So this is what I mean by template, a way where you can create, you use the already created templates in the platform and build either add more features to it or use it as it is. We come back to the home page again. So learn again, it takes you to the official learn platform that Microsoft has, and it has got all the tutorials and everything that you can start to learn and grow in Power Platform things. So it will take you from very beginner to the advanced level. My flows again, so this shows all the flows that are created by me, all the desktop flows that are created by me, and any flow that is shared by with me from my team or anybody in the organization, if they have shared with me. So it would show all the flows that are created in the system. So I can work with any flow and make changes to it, or add enhancements to it. The next thing is approvals. We have a process in Growwstacks, for example, uh, that anybody who wants to take a leave needs to send an leave approval to his manager. So if, let's say, so when anybody submits the leave in the system, and we have a, let's say, a Power Automate flow which would email that request for approval to his manager, then any approval that you receive would show up here. So you can also approve from this place also. So I would, let's say if somebody in my team is going on a leave and he sends a request for leave approval, then and there's a flow, Power Automate flow behind it, and if they are requesting approvals, it would show up here for me. If I have to send a leave request to my manager for approval, then any approval request that I send would be available on this sent tab, and the history would show all the past history of this thing. Now, this thing solutions. Okay, so solutions is, I would say, this is a very important thing that we should focus here. So normally when we build any project, okay, so what we want is we want to store all the artifacts, anything that we are doing with that application in one folder or one centralized location. So that in Power Apps terminology is called a solution. So solution is nothing but a way where you can store all the things related to a project inside one particular solution. And so that what that gives you, whenever if you want to move to a higher environment, you can move the entire solution. You don't have to move one component by one and move it. And what it gives you is that all your inventory related to a project or any implementation is all shown in one place. So that gives you, from a developer perspective, it gives you a lot of control over what you are building from an application perspective. And we will see all these things in practical also. Automation center. So again, automation center is a place where any automation or any workflow that you have built, it would, all those would show here, and we can see their run history. We could see their performance, how they are doing. We can see in the last 7 days how many have run, how many have failed. All those things we could see here. Process map, again, this is specifically for the process mining thing that we see. So it allows you to create process maps, how different flows are working together, and you could see measure how those flows are running. Work queues, again, I would show this in when we go to the queues part again. Machines also will show later. Errors. So any flow that you build, if it encounters error, all the errors would show up on this tab. AI builder activity, again, any AI components that we add in our flow, any things related to that would show up in the AI builder activity tab. Any activity for desktop flows would show up in this when we click on this, and it opens it as a separate window. And here you can see all the activity related to desktop. So the goal of Automation Center is to give you a detailed insight of all the automations that are running, created by you or shared with you, and they are running. And you can keep a close eye on how many are working, how many are failing, what is the success rate, error rate, what is their performance. If something is running slow, then you can take some preventive actions on that to improve their performance. So this is the process mining thing. So again, so how it starts is, basically the goal of process mining advisor is, if you have any process in your organization that needs to be automated. So first, what it takes is, the input is that it takes a recording or a diagram of that process. It takes that process, it analyzes the inefficiencies in that process, and then it tells you what are the automation opportunities in this process. So it is a way through which Power Platform tells that how to automate a certain process, because a lot of times there are complex processes which, if are not migrated correctly or developed correctly, they result in a lot of unnecessary operations, or they take up your lot of computation power. So to save from those situations, we use this mining advisor, and this tells you what is the best process to automate a certain thing. AI Hub. All right. So AI Hub is the place where you see all the AI related capabilities that you have built in Power Platform, specifically for Power Automate here, and it also allows you to create new models or new prompts that you can use. And we will see all this in detail. So, like if I say, let's explore this one. So either you can build your own prompts, or it provides you some standard prompts, just like the templates, which you can use to work in it. Let's say I give a summarized, I'm using this summarized text prompt which is provided in by default. So on the left, it is, so this is a way to test this thing. So on the left, if I paste anything here, it would generate the summary out of this particular text that I paste on the left. The model you will use GPT 4.1 and it would summarize this thing. Let me see if I have an email, long email. I can just, so let's say I pasted this thing and now I can, if I ask it to summarize. So this is the model. So it has generated a better version of sending this email and summarized it in a better way to send that. So again, the intent is there are some standard prompts that it provides, or if we want to create our own prompts, we can create this through here. I will go back to the AI Hub again. This was prompts. Again, there are some standard AI models that it provides, or we can create our own model. So if I let's say this extract information from invoices. So what it tells is, if you look at this, so it is using a sample invoice, and this we have the model, the default template the model has, it has trained to look for date. That date would appear in the left top left corner, the invoice number would come in the center, the address would come in the top right, and on the right, if you see, all the information is extracted by the base model that is there. So tomorrow, let's say I have a different format here, so I would come in here, I would click on upload new and upload a different format. Then I would tell this AI builder here to see that, okay, the invoice number is coming somewhere here, or the address is coming at the bottom, or the customer name is coming on the right. And then I would provide it with some more samples to train and test, and it would start extracting the details like it is. Coming on back to the AI Hub. Again, documentation, document automation is basically nothing, but it is simple, like the flow that is described over here. You receive documents, then you tell that either I want to extract a certain piece from that information, or extract some key numbers from that document, and it would store that, extract that data and store that data in some system for you. So again, this is more specific functionalities that the AI Hub is providing, and this particular feature is more applicable when there are large documents to process, and where we have a clear idea as to what information to be extracted. So these are more applicable for some contracts or legal documents where there are some specific information appearing at a certain pages, and we train the model to recognize those things. So the question is like, the question that should be asked is like, is your again, compared to n8n or Microsoft, the cost on the Microsoft side would to implement this would be higher. But again, the question that you should be asking is, if that customer is already invested in the Microsoft space, they already have, like, everybody's on Microsoft M365 things, then logically, I would say the best segue is to use Power Automate rather than going out and bringing a new platform in. Then coming on to the desktop flow activity. So this tab on the left, desktop flow activity, if there are any desktop flows that you have built, it would show all the desktop flows, and we could do their entire monitoring from here. Currently, like, I don't have a license on that, so basically I cannot show it here. So desktop flow, as I told you, the portal that you're seeing is to use to build cloud flows. So cloud flows are nothing but any flow that you build to connect to any cloud-based data source, or where APIs are available. But if you are trying to connect to systems which are on-prem or which are very legacy, which do not have scope of APIs, then we connect to those systems for automation using Power Automate Desktop. So those flows are called as desktop flows. So we have seen approvals, we have seen solutions, automation center, process mining, catalog, AI Hub, prompts. Now tables. So tables is nothing, but it gives you an ability to create some Dataverse tables of your own. So system has some default tables in there, but if I want to create my own table, it would allow me to I can create my own tables over here. and start adding business logic through those tables. Connections. So as I talked to you about, that Power Platform has an ability to connect with 14,000 different applications. Okay, so if I click on new connection, it provides me all the list of the different connectors that are available in the system. So see, this is the list of connectors that are available, and 1400 applications is very high number. So there are connectors like available. If I search here, so there are connectors available for Salesforce. There is connectors available for SAP, any so Dropbox, all common things. Let's search Google. Okay, so we have connectors for all the Google things as well. So this is a place where you can create connections for any applications that you are trying to build the automations for. So right now, like I have whatever I have built, I have connected to Teams, I have connected to OneDrive, I have connected to Outlook, I have connected to Share. So these are my connections that are showing over here, and I want to create new connection. I can do it through here. So one more thing I want to tell here is that there are, so as these are all the connectors, so if you see this column, a standard, and there are certain connectors which are premium connectors. So let me give you an example of a premium connector. So if you look here, this premium word here in at Salesforce. So any premium connector that you see where it has a premium under below, there's a licensing cost associated with it. Okay, so but the good thing is that with one license you can connect to all the premium connectors. You don't need to buy separate licenses for every application that you're connecting. So one premium license would cover all the premium connectors. Another difference between standard and premium, a very simple classification is what Microsoft has done for any of mostly all the applications that are owned by Microsoft under 365, Microsoft 365 or Office 365. So those are considered as free or standard applications, and for those you do not need any license. But for any applications outside the Microsoft ecosystem, so these are considered as premium applications, and that's where they charge the license fee for it. Work queues and machines. So machines again, let me show you. So okay, so let me give you an example of machines. So let's say I have 1 million files sitting on my organization sub server, and I want to read data of these and populate on this. Now, what happens is that if I will do it with a cloud flow, a normal cloud flow, it would take me days or months to process that number of files. So what I do in those scenarios is that what Microsoft provides is it provides you to create a virtual group of machines with a specific computation power. So right now, any flow that you build is getting its computation power from Microsoft servers, and it is shared with everybody in that particular region. So if let's say in India region there are all the companies in India who are operating, so they would get that computing capacity or power from that the regional center for India. But let's say I need, for my purpose, I need to process 1 million files, and I need to have more computation power to process fast. So what they provide you is they provide you a way to create machines with specified computation power, and your automation would run on those machines only. So with dedicated computation and more focused computation power, you can run those automations in a quicker frame of time. So this screen that we see here, it allows you to create machines, manage your machines. So you can create machine instances of new machines. You can kill instances of the machines if they are not in use. And these are very on demand. So if at a certain point of time you need more capacity, you can create new instances. If you don't need capacity, you can turn down certain instances. So a very on-demand feature, but again a feature which a lot of other competitors have had for advanced processing or huge processing of data. So that's where they use this machine. Work queues is again things like, let's say there's an automation which is relying on a particular system in between. Okay, and there are multiple users which are triggering that automation. So what it can happen here is that we can build queues that as the requests come in, they would wait in queue and they would get access to that particular resource one by one, and not all of them together. and they would get access to that one resource one by one dedicatedly, but do their job and move on. So it is, again, it is a very specific use case driven application of queues, where the restriction is that the resource that every automation flow needs is not shareable, meaning only one person or one flow can take control of it at a given amount of time. So in those cases, we create queues as an so through queues, the processes line up one by one and they take control of that particular resource, execute the task, and move on. So once they move on, the next process can take over. So this is like all about queues. And so till now, what we have seen is all things available on this particular interface of Power Platform portal, the login page, landing page, where we see all these things. I would cover this the Copilot thing, and there's another thing called as Plant Designer later. This is a very good thing that you would like how, and it would show the like how AI can help in creating or delivering some projects with a very quick in a very quick way. But first, let's do a simple flow creation, and I'll tell you how we create a project overall, and how we add flows and things to it. So if I go to this solutions tab, so as I told, solution is a way of logically creating all things related to a project in one single place, and that gives me a control over my inventory and everything that I create with respect to that project. So I click on new solution, and I would say demo project. So this is a publisher thing, means every solution that is created is associated with some default entity created in the system. And this is just I mean, we do not have to do any, this doesn't impact our development or any project work. This is only needed when we deploy from one environment to another. So it would create deploy to another environment using the same publisher. So nothing related to development on this particular part. So when I click create, so it creates me an entire blank slate where right now there is nothing, and I can add things for my project here. So let's say I want to create a flow. Okay. So on this automation thing, I come over here and I want to create a cloud flow. Let's say I want to create an instant. Okay. So I would say first flow. Okay. And let's say, okay. And it is asking me to create a trigger for it, or I want to, let me see. Okay, so before creating the flow, it is asking me which connector or application I want to connect with. So let's say I want to connect with SharePoint. So how do I want to trigger my flow? So I would say let's trigger my flow when an item is created. Okay, so it has created automatically used my. Now I'll tell you how the power of the Microsoft ecosystem here. So I am logged into Power Automate using my Office 365 credentials. Okay. SharePoint is again a Microsoft offering to which I would connect with my Microsoft 365 credentials. It has recognized that the logged in user is having a SharePoint profile also, and it has directly made the connection to it using the logged in account that I have used here for Power Automate. So basically for connectivity, I don't have to provide any another set of credentials or anything to all the Microsoft products. It automatically recognizes that the same user is using SharePoint, and I don't need to prompt him for connection. If I let me go here and put my SharePoint site. So this is the SharePoint site that we have, and let me create a list over here. And now I will add some columns to it. Okay. I select it's a text type of column, and I would say name, text, save. So I have created a simple list with these columns. I will go to my flow over here. So so I will sit first. It would give me all the sites that are available for me to where I am a member of. So I am a member of communication site and I am a member of project. So I will click this site, project site. Then as soon as I select this, it would show me all the lists that I am managing here. So right now we just created this invoice list. So it shows me the invoice list. So what will happen is what this trigger would flow would watch is And whenever an item would be created in this invoice list, now the time comes what action. So let's say I want to just for now, I just want to be simple. I'll say send an email, Outlook, connect to Outlook and send an email. So now again, Office 365 Outlook is again part of the same ecosystem. So it automatically made the connection to my inbox. So now I would say send an email to Nikhil at growstacks.com. Subject would be new invoice received. I would say hi Nikhil. So on the left, if you see here, it starts showing me different options as I'm pulling this thing. So whenever that item, it has made that connection to that particular SharePoint list, and whenever a record would be created, it would provide me all the fields that are created actually with that. So we created a field called as invoice number. So I would put owner. So I would can select invoice owner over here. Then I want to select the okay. And I would say okay. So this what it has done. You see here now it has generated the HTML format with all tags and everything. So again, so it has generated that we have generated this entire format here. And so what will happen is whenever a new item would be created in that SharePoint list, this email would be sent out to me. Now I would save this flow. Okay. Okay. So now this flow is saved. If you see this thing flow checker over here, so flow checker, if there are any errors in this flow, let me say that let's say if there are any errors in this flow, then this flow checker would be, there would be a red dot that would come over here. And when you would click on it, it would show all the errors and the warnings if there are any with that particular. So this flow checker would tell you anything if there are any errors or anything like that. So now we have saved this flow and I'll go. So this is our solution. I want to go back here. We will go through this thing again, but for now, let's just test it. Okay. So I would say now add new item here. Okay. So we have created a simple entry over here. When I click this, that flow would be triggered and it would run in the background and it would send that email to us. So let's give it a few couple of seconds where it can show where we would if you see this section 28-day run history, so it will show all the runs of that particular flow. Okay, so anytime this flow any flow would run over here, so it would show all the run history of that flow over here. So this flow ran for 390 milliseconds, and if let me click on this particular run, so it will show what it ran. So it connected with this site address. It generates some hexadecimal mapping for the that list name, and it sent an email with this particular body. Okay, so basically this is all the details that we entered. So this shows the details of a particular run over that has been done, one that particular instance that ran. And this is basically very helpful when we want to debug certain things. So if I go to my inbox, there should be an email. Yes, there is an email. Let me show here. Just wait. Let me see. This is the email that I have received just now. 1:40 p.m. We received this email with these details. So this is a very simple example of a flow running on a trigger, and I believe you have done these simple things in N10 and main courses as well. At the tenant only and not for outside the tenant. That restriction is that I cannot share any account outside the tenant. So this gives me a complete visibility into the runs of the that particular flow. When I come back to this screen, okay. So, okay, let's go through this screen, what all it shows. So first thing over here, it shows the name of the flow that was created, who is the owner of that flow, what is the status of this flow, whether this is on or off. So I can turn this flow off also. So this would, if I turn this off, then if you add the list in any item in that row, email would not go. When it was created, when it was modified, the type of the flow, and which plan this is running on. Okay, on the left, so this is again they have created a called as an ROI indicator, but I believe this is not a very good feature that they have Microsoft has implemented, which tells you an ROI that how much you have saved when you're automating a particular process. on the connection references tab, it shows me all the connections that this particular flow is having. So in this case, we connected to Outlook and SharePoint. If I want to share this flow with anybody else, so I can share this here. So let's say if I want to share with anybody in my organization, so I want to share it with Manish. So I just found his ID and it would share this flow with Manish as well. So he can, so if he creates that, if he wants to make changes to it or if he wants to edit it, he can also do it. Okay. And this bottom thing, it shows how many times in the last 7 days it has run, any errors or anything, what solution this is part of it, and in the process mining over preview, how it would look like. So this is a detail for that particular flow that you can see when it is run end to end. Any questions on this? Then we can go into another example. Create. This is our solution demo. Now let's say another example of the flow that we want to do. Let's try this thing. Automation, cloud flow. Now we want to do a scheduled flow. So the first thing that it would show me is like, I let me put the name first. Then it since it's a scheduled flow, we need to run it at a certain amount of time or a given time frame. So I can provide the time frame. I could provide here the frequency. So let's say it should run on 11/20. I want to run it at. We are approaching 2 p.m. So we can, or let me say I want to do it at. Okay, it's not allowing me to edit here, but I want to run this flow at 2 p.m. So this would run at 2 p.m. And how much I want to repeat it. So I want to repeat it every minute. I want to repeat it every hour, day, week, millisecond, month, second. I can configure all those things over here. So, so I just say once every day and I can click it on create. So, okay. And here again, I can start writing a business logic here that, okay. So I'm saying get items from SharePoint. So again, I would provide here. No, this is the site. This is the list name, invoice list. And okay, so I would get a list from all, get this invoice list from this SharePoint site. And so what it would do is, since this list could have n number of items, it has automatically seen that a list could have multiple items. So it needs to run that action multiple times. So it has automatically added a loop on top of it, applied to each loop. So it would get items from, for all the items that are received from the step above, it would send and start sending an email again one by one. So if there are 2 items in this list, I would start getting 2 emails. It was the okay. So it has given me warnings I can ignore if there are any errors. Then it would not compile, but warnings we can ignore. So what it will do is it has automatically seen that a list could have n number of items in it, and so it has automatically added a for loop based on that it could have multiple items. And once this email 2 o'clock will hit, it would start sending out emails. So we have saved it. So flow is saved. Now let's add a couple of more items over here. First, let me stop that other flow here. Otherwise, we would get. So now this flow is turned off. We are good with this. I will go back. All right. So our flow is saved. I am entering a couple of more entries here. Okay. So we have added 3 rows over here, and so so there's still like 6 minutes to go to 2, but we'll wait for that particular time and wait for that email to come. Till that time, I want to show you on the solution side. Okay, so this is our solution. So all the artifacts that we create here would start showing up over here. So agents is nothing but the Copilot agents that we talked about earlier. Apps means any power apps that will show over here. Cards is nothing but a UI that is stored in when you are interacting with a bot. So it comes with like a nice background with some font and details. Right now, I don't have an example of it. uh, cloud flows, so all the flows that we have created, connection references. So basically, we have connected to SharePoint and Outlook. So these it shows the connections that our solution has. Any data workspace, basically any data bases or any custom things that we have connected to would show over here. And these are the tables. If we have created any Dataverse tables, all would show over here. On the left hand side, if you go through it, so we are right now, so this gives an overview of this particular solution as to what is the name, publisher, created date, and everything. The bottom you see all the items inside that solution, and if it is using any Dataverse components or anything in that, it shows on the right. Objects would nothing but show all the objects inside that. History would show a complete list of changes or anything when this solution as an overall is updated. So let's say I want to create a copy of this solution. So that is an operation on this solution. It would create an entry over here. Or I want to deploy this solution from this environment to a production environment. It would create an entry over here. Pipelines. Pipelines is nothing but a way to move code from one environment to another. So basically, it would ask if there is any pipeline existing, or I want to create a new pipeline I want to create. So when I create a new pipeline, it would ask me which environment I want to move from this current environment that we see on the top right to the any desired destination environment. It would ask, and it would create a way to move code automatically. And source control is nothing but a repository where we can keep all the changes that we do, all the operations that we do, and this can be reused and repeated for any future uses. Okay, so this covers like the overall high level things that we have in the solution. Okay, let's go back to the flow again. I wanted to show you one more thing, but on the top left, sorry, on this top bar, edit gives you the ability to edit this flow through share. If I want to share it with any other user. Save as means I want to save it with another different name. Delete would delete this flow. Send a copy means if I want to create a copy of this and email it to somebody, it would do through the send copy. Export would mean if I want to deploy it in some other environment, I can export this flow and create it in other environment. Analytics would give me all the run statistics of this flow, so as to how when this flow ran, how many errors it had, or what is the time it took. Those things. Turn on and turn off. Basically, if I want to turn on, turn off the flow, and repair tips if for any errors or warnings. Some of the automatic tips it gives. So repair tips would be that. All right. Okay. So that flow would run automatically, but I want to show you another thing. Okay. So I think our flow must have run by now. Let's go back to the flow here. First check. It has not. Okay. Okay. Sorry, it was turned by mistake. I may have turned this one off. Let me run it manually now. So this, sorry, I mean, may have turned this one accidentally off, but now it's running. So if I go into this, there are two basically GUIs for visualizing the flow. So one is this newer GUI that they have created. I always prefer the old GUI with this representation. So I always go back to the old view. So basically what it did was it received the items from this SharePoint list, and it found that there are 3 items. So it sent 3 emails to my inbox, and we can see what went into each instance. So first instance, we sent it for LG Electronics. If I click on second, it sent for Samsung. If I click on third, it sent for Onida. So, and if I go to my Outlook, see, we have received these 3 emails just now. 205, Onida. These are the 3 emails we received right now. LG Electronics and Samsung at 205. So a very simple thing that you may have done multiple number of times with make and attend, but just a very simple segue into how we do things in here. So I'm onto the Power Apps portal, but it works for both of them. Okay. So what Plan Designer is that you describe it a problem. Okay. And what it would do is it on its own, the AI would work and it would create some requirements. It would create a data model that n number of tables would be needed to support this requirement. It would create a process map in terms of what functionalities that every user or every role would perform in this application, and then it would generate all the components to support that requirement. So let's say if I write, I want to build an application for capturing invoice details. For every invoice, I'm writing some random requirements. If the value is more than 150,000, send to group head for approval. Otherwise, send to reporting manager. Okay. And so this is a very simple use case that I write, that build me an application which captures invoice detail. And for every invoice, if it value is more than 150K, send to group head, otherwise send to reporting manager. So when I click generate, so first what the AI agent would do, it would create, or based on that business problem, it would generate different roles that are going to be there and what each role would be performing. So basically, it understood that there are three people going to be using this application. One is going to be the employee, one is going to be the reporting manager, and one is going to be the group head. So as an employee, what he can do, submit an invoice, view the status of my submitted invoices, edit or delete that invoice before submission, or receive notifications on invoice approval or rejection so that I stay updated. So this is what an employee would perform. Reporting manager, review and approve invoices below 150K so that everyday expenses are managed, reject invoices and provide reasons so that employee can address issues, view pending and past invoice approval. Similarly, group head would be able to approve and review invoices about 150K, reject, he can reject and he can track all those things. Now, if I say that I want to add some more requirements to this, I want to edit something. So I can add some more things, let's say send notification on Microsoft Teams also. So this is a new requirement I added and I click keep. So this says, okay, these are the requirements that are finalized. Okay. Once I say that these requirements are finalized, it would say, okay, I would click on looks good over here. Then it would create all the tables that are needed to support this application. So it created a table for employees. It created a table for all the invoices that are coming in, and it would create a table for all the approval requests that are going to be there. Once I click looks good here, okay, so it asks me to, okay, you can ignore this step. Normally, I see I'm working in a default environment where I don't have permissions to do this, but normally we should do it in our own environments. So it created new environment for me, my own environment. So again, on the data table also, if I click here on every table, so this, it shows like all the tables and everything that it would create. When I click looks good, it would say what it says, that it would create an invoice submission app, so employees can submit all the invoice details through it. It would create an app for a group head and manager to approve things. It would create a flow. So this is the flow it would create, that to route the request based on the budget, and it would also create a flow to send the status notification. So remember, we added a thing to send notifications on Microsoft Teams. So it would create a flow for that also. So it says these many things are needed. Now we can remove or delete things from here. Let's say if I added here, I said I don't want a certain thing, I want to add it. So let's say remove manager app and group head. I don't want three apps, group manager app, and allow them to update through invoice submission portal app. Let's see what it does. So it has removed that all those two apps. Now it just keeps two flows and one app. So once I click key, so it says this is the solution agent which has generated this thing. Now, so once I say everything is good, it would start creating all these things now. So first it would start creating. Okay, I don't have Dataverse permissions over here, so it is not creating the tables. But what I can do here is it SharePoint list instead of Dataverse tables. Let's see what it. So it says now it has changed from Dataverse to SharePoint. So when we do that, the other components that we have created would also have to change to now connect to SharePoint. So it is asking, should I regenerate? So again, it regenerated and added this model-driven app. So for now, I'm just clicking on key, and then okay. There may be some problems in the tenant, but see, the idea behind this, what I'm trying to tell you is all this is going to be created with the help of the AI. That it would create this app, these flows, everything for me. It created its own set of from its understanding knowledge base. It created its own set of requirements, everything, tables, and everything that it has created. And only thing that if I want to do on this as a next step could be some custom requirements or some requirements that AI cannot code. But rest of the things it will do everything for me. It would create tables, it would generate all the technology components, it would even build those components for me. Like if it would create this app and everything for us and generate this into our solution. So this is like the entire power of Copilot that I wanted to show you. Now I would show you some other features here, like if we edit our flow. Now I want to show you some advanced features into how there are different type of loops or anything that we can build over here. We are going back to our invoice example over here. Now I want to add some conditional logic on the amount of this invoice. So what can I do over here? So can I add a condition over here? So if I type condition over here in the actions box, it would give me a control object, and inside that control object, it gives me different things I can apply. So if I want to apply a condition, if I want to add a for loop, if I want to add a while loop, or if I want to add a switch control or anything, I can do that. So I want to add a condition over. So now it will ask what condition you want to add. So I want to say if amount is greater than 150,000, like perform some other activity. Let's say I want to send a Teams notification. So so it is saying send a message to a user in Microsoft Teams. So I've taken up the Teams connector over here. Okay. No. So I want to send it to myself only. The flow is saved, and when I test it here, let's say manually test. Okay, so here it returned an error. Okay, so this is my Teams again. Okay, so we have received a notification whether invoice has received. Now I give me an option to approve or reject. So I can do those things over here, and I can. So this is the card I was talking about earlier. That we can custom. This is called as an adaptive card, and this card can be customized. You can give it a beautiful UI with a header and a footer, and give text according to our preferences. So here it is asking me to approve or reject this request, and I could add comments over here, and this would get recorded in the flow. So there was two invoices above 150,000, so it would send a request for both of them. And one by one, each request would come in. It would wait till the approval or rejection decision is not made, and then the flow would complete. If I go back to our flow, so now the flow is complete, and it would show us what all decisions we have received. So if I so there were three flows, and we received we sent the request over Teams. This is the request, the internal body, and see if you see the decision and the comments that we have sent from the Teams to here, all are getting recorded over here. For the first, the comments and our decision is recorded over here. So what this example showed is basically we have in this flow, we have used a for loop, we have used if condition, and we have used a Teams connector to send message. Now I want to give you a scenario. Let's say if this list that we are exploring is having 50,000 records. Now, if this for loop would run 50,000 of amount of times. It can run, but it would take a high amount of time to run. So one thought that comes to mind is, can I make this processing? What if I make this processing or run this flow that is sending emails and everything run concurrently? Can I do that? Yes, we can do that. So if we go to the properties of this for loop inside the settings, so it asks that do you want to enable concurrency settings? By concurrency settings mean it would allow parallel threads of that for loop to run. So it would allow me to create 20, 50 parallel threads of this for loop. So it would come in handy when we are processing large amount of requests through that for loop. So it would through this concurrency control, we can create parallel threads, and they all the different instances of the for loop, they can run in a parallel way, one and not in a sequential way. So again, this is done to boost the performance of the flow. So we have few simple flows over here, and we've seen the solution side of things. Now I want to show you what we can do with Copilot here. Okay, so basically, again through Copilot also, if I give it simple instructions, it would create a flow for me. So here it has given some simple examples. So let me click on one example. So what it's saying, every month copy all files from OneDrive folder to another OneDrive folder, and I can give any instruction of my own only. But if we click on this, so it starts creating a flow of its own. So it says here it is asking to set the recurrence as to how where we want this to run, and it is showing the high level actions that this flow would perform. So what it would do is, first it would list all the files in the given folder that we provide. Then it would run a for loop for each of the file, get the file content, and create that file in the another OneDrive folder that we are providing. So if we are agreeing with the requirements, we can give it a keep it and continue, and it is asking me to create a connection with OneDrive. So if I say yes, it would create that flow. Let me go to the old view. Okay, so here first thing, it has set the recurrences to run every time once a month. List the files in the folder. So it is asking me to select some folder in my OneDrive, and it is saying for every file created, file, get the content, and create the file in another destination folder that it is wanting me to create. Okay, so right now it is just my OneDrive, but it will I can give it any other OneDrive or any other path, and it would create the files here. So with this example, what I wanted to show that even if somebody is not fully into building the logic or code, or not basically not from a developer mind frame, even through natural language instructions, we can talk to Copilot, and we can ask it to create a flow or an automation or an app based on how we want to build that thing. So all it can be done through natural language instruction. The only limitation is that if we are trying to do something complex, then AI would hallucinate. So very complex things, it is not able to do. But if you are able to break it into simpler tasks using natural language instructions, this would AI would understand and build those things for you. So this is on the Copilot side of things.